Hey, what's going on, guys? Dr. Medic here once more, and in this video, this time, I'm going to be going back to my roots a little bit. If you don't know, one of my most popular videos I posted on this channel was a video where I guessed how much each TF2 character could theoretically lift in the holy trinity of lifts, as if it was sort of a powerlifting contest, that being the squat, bench, and deadlift. That was released on February 10th, 2024, and at time of release of this video, that was over a year ago. As of recently, I've been uploading mostly safe content, but I think it's time we tap back into the goofiness and talk about a ridiculous topic once more. See, I myself am an athlete. I play baseball. I know, baseball players aren't athletes, but I can touch my toes and run a whole 60 yards without stopping, so I think I should get some credit. Jokes aside, as an athlete, I was thinking to myself, how athletic are the Team Fortress 2 mercenaries really? And how would I rank them in order from least to most athletic? The definition of being an athlete is a person who is proficient in sports and other forms of physical exercise, and being athletic is physically strong, fit, and active. These aren't bad parameters, but I'm going to look further than that. This will mostly be from observation and quite a bit of guesswork. I could be wrong, but I'm taking into account personality, physicality, occupation, speed, perceived fitness, just what I see. Once again, there's a lot of subjectivity in this one. Perceived agility, strength, and a lot more, and I'm going to be taking that into consideration when guessing, so somebody's list may be different than mine. Also, disclaimer, all TF2 mercs are amazing athletes when compared to normal everyday people. They never get tired when running, they never sleep, and they never need a water break. I'm going to pretend that this is not the case, and act as if these were real people with real needs, not video game characters. Because in my first video I didn't really specify that, and I had a lot of people going, oh, these people are... They're not real people, man. They're video game characters. They do crazy shit. We're not taking that into account, okay? They're real people for the sake of this video. Enough yapping. Let's start the countdown with our least athletic mercenary, in my opinion. At the number 9 spot, we have what I believe to be the most unathletic class in Team Fortress 2, and it's probably not who you think I'm gonna pick. Or maybe it is. I don't know. This one will have some contention for sure, and I know I'm the guy that everything has contention because I have really weird takes. But don't worry, I will try to explain myself, so there's no need for the pitchforks and nooses yet. Just wait. The class that I believe could use some speed and agility work, aka the most unathletic class in Team Fortress 2, is the sniper.
That's some shonky business right there.
I know a lot of people just collectively said, what? While there is a fat Russian, a lot of people would probably put in the number 9 spot instead of this Aussie. I don't feel the same way. Despite the sniper canonically being in his late 20s, that's not a joke, look it up, it's true. I feel that he is the least athletic, and this is for a multitude of reasons. First, his speed and physicality. Sniper is quite tall, likely being somewhere between 6'1 and 6'3, and quite a bit thin. Now, I know he does still have some muscle to his frame. I'm not saying he's the weakest of the classes, but he is still quite long and lanky, probably around 185 to 195 pounds or so. As for speed, he's just kind of average. Now, I know he's got those big old boots on, and his occupation doesn't really require him to be all that speedy, but it's still important to take into account when judging the sniper. He only moves at 300 hammer units, or 100%, or 12.7 miles per hour, and for you non-freedom unit users, around 20.6 kilometers per hour, give or take about half a kilometer, not 100% sure. For an untrained individual, the average run speed is around 9 miles per hour-ish, though some sources claim that the average sprint speed is actually as high as 18. I don't know how true this is. Either way, Sniper is likely above average compared to an average individual, assuming that he's running and not full sprinting, because if he's full sprinting, then I guess he would be below average. But at the same time, he holds a sniper rifle and an SMG and a kukri, okay, whatever. To be fair, he probably isn't sprinting, like I said, but for the sake of simplicity, let's say it's close to top speed. On top of this, he is a sniper. He doesn't really have to be super athletic at all. He just sits at a vantage point, which is the back of the map, wears something really dark so he can't be seen all day, and shoot at people across the map. And every once in a while he has to throw piss at a Frenchman, or shoot some Boston dude with a 9mm pea shooter. Or maybe he likes camping. No, can't diss a guy for liking camping. Sniper doesn't really need to be all that athletic to be successful, and in my personal opinion, when looking at the guy, it looks to be this is the case. Like I said, I don't think he's purely unathletic. That's not what I'm saying at all. He still probably has some decent athletic ability, but I think of the 9 mercenaries in TF2, he's the least athletic of the bunch. So that's why I have him at the number 9 spot in today's video. Sorry, Sniper. Let's move on to second loser. For our number 8 spot today, we have a class that you probably thought I was going to put at the number 9 spot. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. I don't know what you were thinking, honestly. No idea. Heavy weapons guy.
Oh, it is sad day!
Here's what I'll say about Heavy. I do not think Heavy is unathletic. I said it once, and I'll say it again. I doubt this will be the last time I say it, because I know people forget, and then they get mad at you, and they're like, oh, but he's not unathletic. Heavy's not unathletic. And he's not unathletic. I don't think any of the classes lack athleticism altogether, but Heavy is just Heavy. He's probably pretty good at something like football or rugby or maybe wrestling. No, maybe not. I don't know. He has kind of small legs. Have you ever seen Heavy's legs? Like, have you ever actually paid attention to Heavy's legs? I mean, look at them. They're tiny. I think Scout has bigger legs than he does. Maybe even Engineer. Or maybe Engineer's around the same size. He would probably be pretty good at those sports mentioned before, though. I mean, even his first cosmetic was a football helmet. Makes sense. Because he's huge. He's around 6'5" or so. I think that's... not sure what that is in centimeters. I'll put it on screen because I completely forgot to write it down. And probably about 320-ish pounds, 145 kilograms, give or take like 10 to 15 pounds or so. I have no doubt that Heavy is probably pretty decent at contact sports, though Heavy is still quite slow. He only moves at 77%, 230 hammer units, 9.8 miles per hour, or 15.77 kilometers per hour. You're welcome. I put it into all 4 of those units for you. And with the GRU, he can move at the same speed as Sniper, Engineer, Pyro, and pre-meet your match Spy, which is 100%, and I'm not going to list it out again. Sorry. He is also stupid strong. Okay, by far the strongest playable class of TF2 and probably one of the strongest in the TF2 universe in general, besides someone like Saxon Hale, who's definitely on quite a bit of gear. Though maybe Heavy is too, I don't know. Like I said, Heavy's stupid strong. I forget what it was. I think he could probably bench something like 5 plates, if not 6. And I know in the TF2 universe he could probably bench press a train, to be honest, but like I said, hypothetically, he's a real person. He could probably deadlift well over 700 pounds. Wouldn't be surprised, if not 800. And he could probably still squat a decent amount despite his legs being puny. I mean, he's strong, but just because you're strong doesn't necessarily make you athletic. That's what they used to tell me. But who knows for sure? Maybe not. Heavy's movements are slow. You can tell he's a bit of a stiff runner just by the way he waddles, sort of. And besides maybe O-line, he likely would struggle at many other sports due to his tremendous stature. All this culminated in him being my number 8 pick for the video. Sorry, Heavy, but there's just a few above you in terms of athleticism. Maybe not in stature, but athleticism for sure. For our number 7 spot, we have my personal least favorite class in TF2. You should totally berate me in the comments for what I'm about to say. Actually, you should write multiple comments and share this video to your friends so they can comment about how wrong I am. And how my opinion is invalid. Yes, it's all coming together. Get all that good engagement and that. Yes, I love that idea. Oh yeah. In the number 7 spot for athleticism, we have one that may get some disagreement, but in my very correct, objective opinion, he just doesn't stack up to the rest of the classes above him. Pyro. Oh, Pyro, I really should stop picking on you. Nah, I'm good. Pyro is a similar case to Sniper, but I think he has a few more things going for him than Sniper did. First, Pyro is definitely strong and likely well built, don't get me wrong. I've discussed this ad nauseum in the video where I pondered about how much each class could lift. I definitely recommend you go check that out if you haven't already. Or maybe he's not. I don't know. He's got a flame retardant suit on. It's impossible to tell what's under there. Though, as you may remember, just because you're strong doesn't mean you're an athlete. Necessarily. I've known a lot of people who are pretty damn strong, but they try any sport apart from sports that involve weightlifting or raw strength, and they struggle quite a bit. This is where my guesswork comes in a little bit, and where our headcanons may divert. Pyro doesn't give me that vibe of being an athlete straight up. He's average speed, average build from what we can see, but not likely in super athletic shape. Sort of like a late 30s, midlife crisis sort of shape. He's average height, likely around 5'8", 5'9", maybe a tad above average weight, around 205 pounds or so. And Pyro's movements in general have seemed kind of stiff to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but just a little bit. Except for some of the taunts. Taunts seem to make Pyro extremely... flamboyant's not the word I'm looking for, because that doesn't describe his movement, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Just look at the way Pyro moves in taunts, but in-game, moving around, jumping around, it's a little bit stiff. I know pretty much every class in TF2 has stiff movement, that's the style, but Pyro just seems a bit more so. The reason Pyro is so low on this list isn't because I don't think Pyro can display some athleticism. Look, he can skate. And honestly, that's kind of the reason I didn't put him one spot lower, kind of saved him a bit. No, it's more that the other classes in-game or in the comics show they are more capable of athletic feats than Pyro is. Not a knock on the Pyro, still in better shape than most people, most likely, but on the lower end of the TF2 class roster, barely beating out both Heavy and Sniper. Okay, who do we have at the number 6 spot? Let me just pull up the script here and take a look. Okay, number 6. Oh, please tell me it isn't so. This pains me to say. I mean, this is the class I associate with myself a lot, and he isn't black. That sounded wrong. Don't clip that. What I meant is he's not my main. My main is black. Okay, I'm just making it worse, aren't I? Number 6 is Medic.
Pooh! This is unacceptable!
Medic, you said exactly like that, with that exact inflection. How dare I? How dare I put the number 1 or number 2 most well-known German doctor so low on this list? This one was truly kind of difficult for me for a multitude of reasons. At one time, I had him much higher, I believe, at the number 3 spot. But the more I thought about it, he just wasn't quite as athletic as the other 5 classes above him when I really put everything together. Medic is a similar case to Pyro, where there's just nothing overtly special about him. Yes, in-game he has the uber charge or whatever, but I'm talking just physicality-wise. Him as a person. He moves at 107%, 320 hammer units, 13.6 miles per hour, or 21.95 kilometers per hour, so he has a decent run speed. He definitely does his cardio, and he probably works out fairly often. That's pretty good. He's also capable of moving at 128%, or just a tad slower than Scout, when he's using the overdose at full uber. In case you forgot, because you're a dirty, filthy Crusader's crossbow user, the overdose trades 15% less damage for the ability to gain 2% move speed for every 10% of uber charge you have while the weapon is active, up to the aforementioned 20% if you're at full uber. Some people forget this. It used to be 1% per 10, but they buffed it quite a while ago. Anyway, enough about weapon balance. I guess he could also tether himself to a Demo Knight with a quick fix. But I think that's more of a, I don't know if you guys ever did this. You tie a rope to the back of a quad bike and you move your feet as fast as possible to try to keep up with it. It doesn't really count. I wasn't the only one that did that, right? Okay, good. This is all to say that Medic is a speedster for sure, and that comes to no shock to me. And I mean, in addition, he's a medic. Where imagine he was a true battle medic, and these gravel wars were more than just fabricated lore by a bunch of sweaty dudes back at Valve in 2004, 2006-ish, then it would make sense for Medic to be quite agile and quick in order to keep up with his patients, or get to his patients, or whatever, I don't know. That's just headcanon, though. Could be completely off on that. His in-game abilities sort of coincide with that idea. And if he takes after his predecessor, what I just said would be even more so true. Medic's got wheels for sure. I don't think anybody can deny that. And he's also likely got experience from the war, so he's likely in pretty good shape too. Like I said, he probably works out, even at his slightly more advanced age. Come on now, we all know that Medic fought in World War II. It's all but confirmed. I think Medic is a beast for sure, but there's nothing that shows me otherwise that he'd be an athletic specimen that is deserving of a spot above the 6th. Well, I mean, maybe back when he was in the war, in the army, you know, they gave him a little bit of that stuff. Yeah, he probably was an athletic specimen then. Did you know Hitler did a lot of speed? I'm sure most of you history buffs knew that. Okay, I'm going way off topic now. Enough talking, I've already been talking way too much. I say with a heavy heart that even though he's the face of my channel, despite not being my main, I don't know if you guys knew that, the name Dr. Medic isn't because Medic's my main. Medic's my second least played class. My main's actually Demo Med. Okay. Long tangent. Let's cut it right here. The Medic only takes the number 6 spot on today's list. Following up the Medic, we have that one class that's either strange fodder or potentially the most dangerous and annoying enemy on the team with seemingly no in between. The class that attracts the weebs and the new players alike. I doubt I even have to say it, it's the Spy.
Oh, I have never been more ready.
The Spy is an interesting one since most of my opinion on how athletic Spy is has more to do with his perceived ability and headcanon, if you will, and not just his in-game ability. Spy is an assassin, a shadow of the night. Unless he gets touched by one flame particle or a goddamn soldier decides to walk around the corner at the exact moment I do. Spy in terms of in-game stats is slightly above average in my opinion. In 2016 they buffed his base movement speed from 100% or 300 hammer units, the same as Pyro Engineered Sniper, up to 107% or 320 hammer units, which is the same as Medic. One of the few good changes Meet Your Match made. Other than that, ugh. Gameplay-wise, this made it much easier to catch up to your enemies. For the sake of this list, though, I thought it bumped him up significantly. He's relatively fast, he's quite agile, and I mean, look at this stair stab. That's pretty cool. Super sick. And this corner stab, too? Oh my god. And this behind the back under the crotch stab? And that one's not even a backstab. On top of this, if we count the Big Earner or Dead Ringer, he's even faster, reaching speeds of 432 hammer units. For reference, Scout moves at 400 when at his base. Fun fact, Spy is supposed to move at 425 hammer units when speed boosted, which is the same as Medic does. The reason it isn't, though, and the reason there's this disparity, is because the speed boosts are not applied equally among classes. All classes that move at 300 hammer units get a 35% speed bonus. But Medic, for example, only gets approximately a 32.5 or 32.8% speed bonus, something like that. And the thing is Spy used to move at 300 hammer units. But when the Meet Your Match came around and changed his base speed to 320 hammer units, they did not update the amount of speed he gains from a speed boost. So now he receives the old 35% on top of his new movement speed. Cool stuff. Back to what I was saying though. He's got those aforementioned traits, but he's got a decent build too. He's not in bad shape by any means. He's got everything to make him an athlete. Less of a big burly football player type of athlete and more like a junior basketball player or high school pitcher type of athlete. Really skinny and lanky. I said he's got a good build because according to this Meet the Spy photo that we can all see, he's got a decent build, but despite that he's still quite skinny and lanky. You don't have to be a tank to be an athlete though, so he still gets the number spot he has. However, there are 4 classes we are yet to discuss that just have a few additional traits that edge him out. And, okay, a few more at the top that really edge him out, but Spy is an athlete and probably broke some records back in his day. Though let's go look at the classes that beat him out in the modern day. Just missing the mark of the top 3, in the number 4 spot, we have a class that everybody loves because of one YouTuber, but I'm convinced that nobody really enjoys enough to main, the Engineer.
You just ain't doing it right. You're all about to have a real bad day.
Now that everybody is mad at me because I dared to slander the name of the great Uncle Dane TF2 character, it's time to butter everybody up a little bit as I talk good about everybody's favorite Texan. Engineer is a goddamn cowboy, and cowboys are athletes. I think. He for sure wrangles cows and rides bulls. He is the epitome of a southern man, maybe a bit on the shorter side, but we still love him anyway. What sealed a spot for me especially is some of the feats of strength when he's doing his job as an engineer. Strength alone does not make you an athlete. I've already said it probably 4 times at this point, but the difference with engineer is that it combines strength with movement. And that's a pretty good sign of an athlete, specifically when he's hauling his buildings, whether it be on his shoulder or holding it out in front of him. He's got great core strength because of that one position where he holds the heavy-ass toolbox. He's carrying it out in front of him. He's trying to pull him down. And in the other instance, it distributes the weight more on one side of the body, but he's still able to keep it upright, which requires a lot of oblique strength. Del is average speed, only being about 100% or 300 hammer units, but when he's hauling, he isn't even slowed down by much. Still capable of moving at 90%. Back in the day, it used to slow engineer down to 75% while hauling, slower than heavy, but they upped it in the, I want to say, Gunmetal 2015 update? If I didn't put anything on screen, then I was correct. If I did, that's the actual update that they did it. So he has improved his shape a lot. Engineer is most certainly an athlete in my opinion, likely being the most dangerous 5'6" football player in the whole of Texas, maybe the whole of the country. He will build his nest right here in the number 4 spot today. Let's go into the top 3. Alright, now we're going to look at our podium winners, the top 3, gold, silver, and bronze. Who is going to take 3rd place in today's video? Well, be patient, I'll tell you, just wait. The number 2 and number 3 spot were probably the most difficult to decide on out of all of the spots. Yes, there was some back and forth earlier on in the list, but this is where it truly got spicy and I had to go with a gut decision. The bronze medal, spot like that, just like that, I put it on screen, goes to the character with some of the most bronze, Soldier.
If God had wanted you to live, he would not have created me! Blammo!
Soldier is probably one that some of you are surprised is so far up on the list. Soldier is slow and cumbersome, sporting an 80% base movement speed or 240 hammer units. This is just 3% faster than Heavy is. What gives him the right to be so far up on my list? Answer? It's my goddamn list. But real answer? Rocket jumping. Some other stuff too, but mostly just the fact that he can rocket jump. Seriously, this was a major motivation for him placing 3rd today. Equipped with the man treads, he has great air control and can manipulate his body quite well while airborne. This takes a lot of core strength and general body control, which if you're not an athlete, generally doesn't come naturally. Some people can, don't get me wrong, some people are just naturally that way, but typically that is indicative of athleticism. Rocket jumping couldn't be done by your average Joe or Jane in this case. Absolutely not. In addition, you remember what I said about speed? Yeah, that's his base movement speed, but with the escape plan below, I believe, 41 health, he will move at the same speed as Medic using the overdose with full Uber, 128% or 384 hammer units. This is lightning fast, just being a bit slower than Scout. So what I said was kind of a lie in the beginning. Soldier has wheels. This is all at like 230 pounds if we go off my guess in the Mercenary powerlifting video, which is mad impressive, especially since Soldier can sustain the speed for a long period of time. On top of that, he is a brick shithouse, strong as hell and built like a 1960s patriotic super soldier. He's got all the keys to being one hell of an athlete, strong, pretty fast, and rather agile for his size. In my opinion, he is a specimen and is pretty much the most all-around class. I mean, it makes sense. It's Soldier. Soldier's kind of the all-around class in TF2 as a class. He's the same way when it comes to athleticism. Someone that could be depended on in pretty much any situation. Though there are still 2 classes, in my opinion, that are a little bit more athletic in the traditional sense of the word, so Soldier only takes the bronze medal for today's video. Good job, Soldier. Rest in peace, Rick May. It has come down to the last 2 mercenaries, and we have to make a choice. They're kind of the opposites, on the opposite sides of the spectrum, so it was really tough to actually compare the 2. Though, someone has to take silver, it's time to make a choice. I weighed out the options, and I think I know who I'm going to give the silver to. So for the 2nd place spot on the list, we have...
And if you think you're better than me, you're looking for another thing.
Demolition Man takes 2nd place on today's list, and there's a million reasons why. Demo Man is definitely an athlete. His job is him blowing stuff up, so he's got to be pretty fast in order to get away from debris. On the real though, he's moderate speed, moving at 93% or 280 hammer units, which is completely unique to Demo Man himself. I don't believe any other class is capable of reaching this speed under any circumstance. For reference, that's 7% slower than Pyro, Engineer, Sniper, and I guess pre-meet your match Spy. Though I think that confuses some people, so I'll stop bringing that up. And then it's 13% faster than Soldier, 16% faster than Heavy. It's kind of in between the two. This isn't terribly quick, but if Demo Man puts on his kicks and decides to go for a little run, he's also got to bring his shield with him. Stupid meet your match. Maybe it was Jungle Inferno? I think it was meet your match. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That 93% is bumped up to 103%, which is slightly faster than the 4 aforementioned classes, or 3 now. If he decides he has had enough with this world, grabs his trusty sword, and goes on a killing spree, he can get up to 136%. That is faster than Scout runs, at 133%. I believe this requires about 4 or 5 heads. I could be wrong. I believe it's 4. But yeah, you can run faster than Scout. Demo Man is likely around 6'1", 6'2", and is probably 220 pounds, like 100 kilograms. So running that fast at his size is extremely impressive. Then, if you factor in him charging with any of the 3 shields, he is capable of reaching speeds of 250%, or in-game speed of 750 hammer units for a short duration, making Demo Man an absolute force to be reckoned with. And then the tide turn on top of that? Oh man, he can do these crazy tripping abilities. He's very agile, being able to control his body quite well midair in order to dive and bomb people. Even if he doesn't have the tide turner, he can still do this, and he's still pretty good at it. Now, he isn't as good as Soldier in this regard, but when taking into account his movement speed and other general information that I've given you, he just edges out Soldier a little bit. Demo Man is a hard worker and one hell of an athlete, locking down 3 jobs and being extremely fit. He's also pretty strong as well. Still not as much as Soldier, I don't believe, but he's still up there, and some of his other capabilities just blow Soldier out of the water, which is why he got the silver today. If you've been paying attention, you'll know who's coming next. I mean, even if you really weren't paying attention, you probably know who's going to come in the number 1 spot today. But let's go look at our winner of today's video. Yeah, I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody. The fastest class in the game, the one who has the most movement at base, not counting rocket jumping because that's a skill you gotta learn, is who I'd consider the most athletic in TF2? No way, said nobody. No shock, Scout is the fastest of the 9 mercenaries, moving at 133% or 400 hammer units. This is significantly faster than the runners-up, being Medic and Spy, who only move at 107% or 320 hammer units. On top of this, if you add a full boost babyface blaster scout to the equation, this is increased to 173% or 520 hammer units. He can run this fast without even needing to slow down. He's also extremely agile, being able to strafe quite quickly, which he uses to his advantage in combat. And you gotta realize this is an occupation, so he obviously trains for this too. You have to be an athlete to be able to do this. Scout can drink a can of soda and be so wiry and so agile, I guess, for lack of a better word. He can dodge incoming attacks. Like bullets. Like, who can do that? Okay, maybe that one dude from, what's the movie called? Matrix? Yeah, maybe him, but apart from that, I think Scout takes the title. Sure, it's got the amount of sugar the average American consumes in a week, and also the amount of radiation the average American consumes in a week, but goddamn, it's still impressive. You may say, but speed isn't the only thing that makes him an athlete. You probably didn't, actually, but to absolutely just destroy the straw man argument, I've been purposely leaving out one ability that Scout has that no other mercenary has. The fact that he can jump on his jump. Double jump. He can jump, be midair, then give himself a boost up. Like what? Literally breaking the laws of physics. That body displacement ability shows that Scout is one hell of an athlete and would make Athlenex proud. To be real though, I doubt anybody expected someone different. Maybe someone thought I'd throw Saxton Hale into the equation, but Saxton is a cheat code. Dude can jump 100 feet into the air, probably deadlift a truck, and runs faster than Scout at low health, I believe. Didn't think it was fair to even consider him with the rest of the mercenaries. He gets his own category. As for Scout though, amongst the mostly human people, sorta, he would be the number 1 athlete. Even if he couldn't double jump, he probably still would be my number 1 pick anyway, being good at multiple sports like baseball and soccer. On the baseball note though, He's got great rotational power. I mean, he can hit a ball 90 miles per hour just by tossing it up and hitting it. That is quite impressive and takes someone with some real skill to do. Nonetheless, even without his law of the universe breaking abilities, while a bit wimpy, is still one hell of an athlete. You can't take that away from him. I think he deserves the gold medal for today's weird-ass video. That's all. Did you enjoy the video? Let me know. Give me your own personal list down below, or berate me for daring to put a specific class in a specific spot. Thank you all for tuning in this month. Next month I'm going to have a slightly shorter video, but there will be something on the 10th. It is much appreciated. Thank you. I'll see you all next time.